Have you ever asked yourself, if my life is so perfect on paper, why am I so unhappy? Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I'm a former 9-to-5 corporate employee turned life coach, and I'm here to help you overcome your mental hurdles to create the life you dream of. So, to answer the question, if my life is so perfect on paper, why am I so unhappy? Let's take a journey back to 2016. I'd been in my stable corporate 9-to-5 job for about 4 years by that point, and I had completed all the important life milestones. I'd gotten good grades in high school, I'd gotten into the university program of my choice, I had survived a 4-year grueling engineering degree, and I had subsequently gotten a good job. I was slowly making my way through my career and up the corporate ladder. On paper, I had done and was doing everything right. Yet, I still found myself unsatisfied and unhappy with my life. I found it really hard to wake up in the mornings, often pressing snooze a million times before finally dragging myself out of bed and getting to work barely on time at a reasonable hour. Sitting in the office all day felt like an eternity. And I had gotten to the point where even the fun and cool projects at work started to feel like pulling teeth. And I was starting to realize that I just didn't want to be an engineer anymore. And every step I was taking up the corporate ladder just felt heavier and heavier. I realized that I didn't want the responsibilities that came with climbing the corporate ladder. None of them appealed to me or made me feel fulfilled inside. What I realized is that I wanted to answer to myself and I wanted to be my own boss. At this time, I often found myself daydreaming about going back to school. I really found myself yearning for the student lifestyle, and I often romanticized the time that I spent in university because I had the freedom to do and kind of go wherever I wanted between classes, and I was also able to work from anywhere on campus or from home or from a coffee shop or anywhere that I really wanted, and I really longed for that freedom. And it wasn't until later that I realized that I didn't really want to go get another degree. What I wanted was the freedom that the student lifestyle gives you. And I eventually did leave my corporate 9-to-5 job, but it took one layoff, 2 more corporate jobs, a half a dozen side hustles, and 6 years to get there. And it wasn't until I was able to see my life for what it was, the product of societal conditioning, that I was able to start living intentionally and starting to create the life that fulfilled me. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today, what I've learned about conditioning and intentionality, and how to start living intentionally to create the life that leaves you fulfilled and happy. If any of my story earlier resonated with you, then it's likely that you have also been living a life based on conditioning rather than what you truly desire. Conditioning starts from the moment that we're born. We're either told directly by the adults in our lives, like parents or teachers, how to behave, how to be successful, how to live a good life, or we simply observe the cultural and societal norms of the society that we live in. Well-meaning adults in our lives will often pass down what they think is the best way to do something or the best way to behave in order for us to be safe or to live a good life. They'll say things like, oh, finish the food on your plate, even if your body is telling you that you're full. Or they'll say things like, oh, we don't behave that way in public, even if that's how you naturally want to behave. We are slowly over time conditioned into acting in ways that others deem acceptable. And for a lot of us, the teachers in our lives can have a big role in telling us how we should be living our lives and what we can and cannot achieve. Steve Harvey, who a lot of you may know from Family Feud, once had a dream as a kid to be on TV, and his teacher at the time told him that he would never be on TV because he had a stuttering problem. I myself have a vivid memory of telling a teacher in high school that I was thinking of going into a graphic design program as my next steps, and they adamantly told me that I would never make any money if I got a degree in graphic design. And so what did I do? At the time, I decided to become a miserable engineer instead. This is the power that the people around us can have in our lives when we aren't aware that we are taking in everything that they're saying and living our lives according to what others are saying. This is the power that we take back when we start to live lives in integrity with what we want, when we start to listen to our own inner desires rather than the critics around us. And we don't necessarily even need to have those types of adults in our lives growing up. It's natural to look around and observe what is happening within your own society or within your own culture. So for me, growing up, it was very clear that the path to quote unquote success was to do well in school, go to university, get a degree, and get a corporate stable job. That was the path that was widely advertised when I was growing up. And we are social creatures. We rely on the support of others in our community to survive. This is how humans have made it this far. So we naturally desire to find our people, to find our group. We desire this because we find a sense of purpose or a sense of identity or a feeling of support that comes from finding your group. And we can desire this so strongly that we stick with people that aren't good for us or that don't understand us or that don't support us simply because we want to have a group. And we also desire the acceptance of a group so much that we can start to abandon our own desires and just go along with the norms of that group in order to fit in. So this is how we can start developing people-pleasing behaviors. We yearn for acceptance and safety from others, and we will do what we can to ensure that we are safe and accepted by the group. And it can feel scary to realize that you're, say, the black sheep of the family, or that you're slowly growing away from your friends that you've had your whole life. And even though you may not feel seen or like you really fit in with them anymore, you may just cling to them because it's familiar, and making new friends and admitting that you've grown apart from those friends can be scary and sad. And if you've seen my people-pleasing video, then you'll know that I am a recovering people pleaser and that I have experience with living a life based on what other people expect because I wanted to make everyone happy and I wanted to do everything right in life. So somewhere along the line, I stopped asking what would make me happy, what am I interested in, what would make me feel fulfilled. And I started living my life for others, largely living a life that was seen as acceptable and successful by society at large. And when we do this, that's why our lives become so unfulfilling. That's why your life can look perfect on paper and make you so unhappy, because it's not your dream life. It's not the right life for you. It's the right life for someone else or for society, and you've just gone down a path that wasn't for you. So in order to find happiness, I had to get really intentional. I had to start thinking intentionally, acting intentionally, and creating my life intentionally. I had to start asking myself what I truly wanted in life, and that usually starts out with a list of what you don't want anymore. I had to really start questioning everything in my life and asking, does this truly make me happy? Or is this possibly the result of meeting someone else's expectations? I had to question the path that I was going down, and I had to ask myself, when I look 5 years down the road, where will I be? And is this the life that I want to be living? I had to start experimenting with new things that weren't necessarily what I associated with my current identity. And I had to accept that the road back to my authentic self would be a long one. If you've been living your life for other people for your entire life, then it's going to take a little bit of time to get to know yourself again and to start to build trust in yourself as well. And part of this means accepting that pieces of your life may fall away, like your job or even relationships that just aren't a fit anymore. This also means that you have to stop saying yes to things that aren't a heck yes. And usually that comes with being okay with letting people down. Just because someone else thinks something is the right way or the best way doesn't mean that it's right for you. You have to stick to your guns and understand that what's right for one person isn't necessarily right for you. And that's okay. And you just have to start building that muscle of identifying, does this really make me happy? Do I really want to do this? Or am I feeling pressure to say yes? Or am I feeling like I should be doing it because it's expected or it's the right way to do things? And the last thing is to accept that you still won't be happy all the time, even if you are living intentionally. So after this process, here I am now. I've finally untangled myself from my corporate 9-to-5 job. I've started the process of untangling myself from my conditioned and unintentional past. And I've started my own business, and every day I'm intentionally working towards the life that I dream of. And because of this, my life is no longer on a predetermined path that goes up a corporate ladder. My life is now whatever I decide to make of it. And that can be your life too. All it takes is the decision to live intentionally. It takes confronting the role that conditioning has played in your life up until this point, and deciding that you deserve something different. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some food for thought as far as why your life can look so perfect and yet feel so unhappy at the same time. Make sure to give the video a big thumbs up and leave me a comment down below and let me know what resonated with you. I really love hearing back from you guys. And if you liked this video, consider subscribing if you haven't already for more weekly content like this. And I'll see you in the next video.